Welcome to the Happy Pear podcast, where our ultimate goal is to inspire, educate, and awaken your curiosity, and overall to help you to become healthier and happier.
We're Dave and Steve, identical twins who started a veg shop nearly 20 years ago. Since then, it's expanded into a social following of over 1.5 million people, nearly 50 million views of our videos, nearly 500,000 books sold, cafes, farms, apps, courses, food products to help you to eat more veg.
We speak to thought leaders, health experts, trailblazers, and specialists of all kinds, from the ones you know to those you've never ever heard of.
So we're delighted to have you here today on this special episode. I'm Dave.
I'm Stephen, and in between us there is Dara.
Woo!
And
Sarah.
So there's four of us here today for a very special episode. The Happy Pear has been in business for 19 years, so it really has. And the whole purpose has been to create a happier, healthier world and build community, which sounds very Walt Disney-like. And we've just announced that we're putting up 18.9% of the Happy Pear ownership, which we're selling to the public because we want you, our community, to get the opportunity to become an owner. So this podcast is to answer the questions about it, to share with you, our audience, our community, with why we're doing it, the details about it, because we really want to bring you on the journey with us. So welcome aboard.
So tell me, one of you fancy brothers, what is equity crowd investing?
equity is a fancy term for like shares. So like the ownership of a company typically is divided up into shares. Like they're like, and that's like piece of paper to say, I have 30 shares of the Happy Pear, for example. So equity crowdfund, as Dave mentioned, we're putting up 18.9% of the Happy Pear for people to invest in so that they can become owners. And I guess what we feel is that we've had it 19 years and it's kind of time to look at a different model of how we can do business and fund our business, because we've been approached by venture capitalists or PE or private equity funds to grow our business, but it didn't feel right because at our core we're a community-based business. We really want to harness the power of the collective. So this is an opportunity to get more owners there that believe in the mission and really spread it and help it go further. Like our products have been really successful in Ireland and we want to launch them into the UK to help people to eat more veg.
So the 18.9% that people are buying, what it comes to 2.5 million, is that what it is? And that's not going into your pockets then? That's,
no, not at all. Like so yeah, the 18.9% is really the total valuation for the business, which is done by an independent company, is 10.7 million. So that's the value, what it's worth. And we want to raise 2.5 million. And the whole purpose of this is not for a personal gain. It's to maximize our impact. And in Ireland, we've been really successful. And this money is to launch our products in the UK. So it's really to internationalize the brand. Like the whole purpose of the business is to support, enable people to eat more plant-based foods that are kinder for them, kinder for the planet. And this money is to take it to the next level, to maximize the impact. So we're looking for, the current owners, there's Stephen, Dara, myself and Mark, we're four brothers, and we've got it so far in 19 years. And the whole idea is if we get 2,000 people or 2,500 people that are co-owners in the Happy Pear, they're going to help take it to the next level, because the whole core of the business is to maximize the impact that we can. And obviously anyone investing, they might go, well, if I put in the money, like what do I get for it? And really, it's about being part of it, this mission. It really is putting your money where your mouth is, that it's like, well, no, your mouth mightn't be here, but putting your money where your beliefs are, like investing in your values, that it is like plant-based food has been proven to be the single biggest thing that we can do as individuals in terms of sustainability, in terms of environmental impact, really, more so than having an electric car or flying less. Like your food choices, if you eat plant-based foods, there's less water in it, there's less energy required. It's much more supportive of nature, and that's why the Happy Pear, we started it. Like sustainability is baked into the very fabric of it. So yeah.
And why would you guys be the people for this job? Why should I invest in you guys?
We've been in business for 19 years and we've proven through that phase that the business has successfully grown in through high moments, through recessions. We're a mission-driven business with as Dave just outlined, in terms of, we from the very beginning and right through everything we do, we're about creating a healthier, happier world and building community. And we do it in a very fun way, but we've also, we've had very strong growth in Ireland. We've had a proven track record.
of successfully licensing our food products on Ireland with Musgraves.
What does that mean now? Successfully licensing our products.
That's a big.
That sentence needs explaining.
Yeah, well,
let's unpack that one.
The credibility within that is that we've had a big impact, and we've had a lot of, there's a lot of people who've really enjoyed our products across all of Ireland.
What products do you have?
We've got we now have over 75 and a really broad range. So
have you sold many of them?
We've this year our sales should be on track to do about 13 million retail sales.
Wow. And how many units have you sold?
All right, brother Stephen.
Sorry,
Go on, Dara.
We've sold about 18 million products to date. So there's been across the range, but we've also in 2016 we raised 1.5 million through a tax-based investment scheme, and we've successfully paid that back.
I remember Dara getting a check for 1.5 million, putting it in his old wallet on Christmas Eve, and having to walk across Grafton Street. And I was even nervous, and I didn't even have it in my pocket. And you couldn't cash that for about 3 days.
Yeah.
So I remember that. We managed to pay that back.
But we successfully paid that one back. And in terms of when you stand back and look at it, our focus is on the UK and beyond. But if you look at the UK market, it's absolutely booming. It's set to grow almost 10% year-on-year growth. And plant-based, within that, the plant-based market is just, if you look at all the launches of food products, it's all in that space. So we're entering a busy marketplace, but it's one that's massively growing, and it's 10 times the size of Ireland in terms of sales. So within our projections of what we have and in our kind of evaluations, it's conservative growth in the UK versus in Ireland. We've had very strong growth, and working with Musgraves as part of the partnership, we've had very strong growth. And it's so when we look at what we've got, it's when you stand back and look at it, it is a solid financial investment in that we're being very conservative, but yet we've had a lot of proven track record in terms of what we've had in Ireland.
And even just explain the business to people, because they might go, food products, so we've got 3 bits of the business, and they all serve the same function to enable people to eat more plant-based, healthier choices for them, healthier for the planet. So there's the product side of the business, which is, as Dara said, we've got 75 products. So that's like granolas and soups and dips and pizzas and pestos and hummuses and snacks, and all plant-based, all designed to make it easier for people to make healthier choices. We've got the cafes and farm bits. So we have a cafe, shop, sourdough bakery, and 2 farms. And we'll go more into the farms. And then we've got the education and media side. So we've written 6 cookbooks, all plant-based. We've sold nearly 320,000, more than 320,000 of them. We've our courses where we've had more than 100,000 people through them. I know we're throwing loads of stats at you here, but those are where we partner with medical experts to support people who do them to make healthier food choices. They're all lifestyle based, and that's the education part of the business. And each 3 of those parts of the business, the products, the cafes and farms, and the education bit, they're all there just to support people to make healthier choices.
And let's bring it back a bit. How did this all start 19 years ago? Brother Stephen.
Okay, top level. I'm not to go too deep. I was told not to go too deep into the history lesson. But obviously, back in the womb, me and Dave are womb mates.
Bada bing, ding.
Thank you, David. We went to college. We studied business. We kind of had the idea that if you make loads of cash, you're going to be happy. And for some reason, it didn't sit that well with us. We thought there must be more to life than this. Dave moved away to be a semi-pro golfer.
I wasn't to be a semi-pro. I was going to be like...
You wanted to be the
Rory
best.
McIlroy.
No, you wanted to go and, see how well you could
go and be a big deal.
Yeah, exactly. And I went away largely and explore happiness. I kind of felt a bit flat, felt there has to be more to life, and I kind of wanted to go on my own and adventure. And I went to Whistler because I remember seeing a movie and there was lots of pretty people and parties, and I thought, yeah, that's a good place to start. But spent the next couple of years exploring where I felt more myself. And it was back then, you didn't have this digital shadow following you around social media. There was like, you checked your email once a month, and it was a Hotmail email account. It wasn't even like Google wasn't out. So you could really, move throughout it. There was a lot more social fluidity. So it was like, I tried to be a hippie, and then I'll be like one of these spiritual guys, and maybe I'll try to be a musician, or maybe I'll be one of those environmental people that are real activists. Yeah, I'll try all those. But it kept coming back to me that it was food. food was where I felt at my most happiness, and I felt like I could, wow, like what we eat really can impact the world. And it really, like, it's something that we do every single day, many times a day, but like what we eat is like a political choice. It supports the world you want to build. So it was like, I remember, I think it was in West Virginia. I remember calling you. You were in Central America, and I remember out, like, I was staying in this fella Andrews. He was building a straw bale house, and I was up working in it, and there was loads of snakes around. I remember being really afraid of the snakes, but I remember calling you, and I remember kind of going, Dave, I have this idea, like I want to like start a food revolution. Like, will you come join me? And I remember you thinking like, oh, we're gonna go break stuff. We're gonna go. This is gonna be amazing. And then it was like, we start a veg shop, and you were like, oh, okay. Yeah, cool. I guess I'm your twin. I'm up for it. Yeah. And that was it. Like, we kind of started with the Happy Pear, with the kind of a dream of using although we'd done business degrees, we'd kind of thrown them out the window. We wanted to try to use the medium of business to create social change. So it was like, how can we create a happier, healthier world and build community all through the medium of food? Because food is something that we all share. And at the time, I couldn't articulate it as well as I can now. At the time, it was like, Dave always kind of said, I just have this feeling in me. Like, I feel like I just want to like spread it. Like, I feel like, remember watching Care Bears? Yeah. I felt like I just wanted to like stand at the corner of the shop and just go, Care Bear stare, Care Bear stare.
Yeah, it was like, you know, but it was that feeling. We had this feeling inside of us, that this just burning desire, because I guess changing our diets, we had changed to a plant-based diet and found it gave us such meaning and purpose and agency. And it was like, well, how can we share this with more people? And we tried to call it, like Stephen was adamant that we should call it Flinner's Fruit and Veg for Social Change, because that was the very, like, it was a revolution. We weren't selling carrots and cabbages. We were selling a better way of life. But we called it the Happy Pear. And right from the start, we used to go do talks in schools and teach kids how to make smoothies. And we started with a juice bar. So, and we used to give porridge away. We still do free porridge away to anyone who needed it.
Or needs it.
Needs it. Yeah.
My memory is because I'm from Greystones, where you guys started your fruit and veg revolution. Is that there were just these two guys who wore shorts all year round who just sold vegetables. And I was like, who are these guys? And now, like, fast forward, and things have changed a lot.
Well, even I remember back at the start, like, people thought we were, like, we started in 2004. So, and we had studied business and we were good at sport, and mom and dad's friends would have thought, those two Flynn twins, they're really going places. And we were good. Like, mom and dad would have been really proud of us. And then we came back and we started a vegetable shop, and we had long hair and we stank a hippie. Like, you know, people would have said those two
and we
hippies.
Drove a van.
They would have said, like, what are those two idiots at? Like, they've really lost their way. Like, they really have, like, and they'd literally, like, be crossing the road. You know, they'd see us coming and they'd cross the road, and you got the sense that they thought we were selling drugs out the back.
Well, you used to be outside
and
Extra
obviously
Vision.
we weren't selling drugs, just to clarify that.
But you used to be outside Extra Vision trying to give people smoothies for free.
Yeah, we were really about, you know, we thought if Coca-Cola could be sexy, like, well, why can't cucumbers and melons and like things do?
Hey.
But we thought, like, surely fruit and veg, like, it's so, if all this other stuff can be sexy and attractive, well, how can we make fruit and
But
veg
I even
sexy
remember,
and
like, a couple of random little stories about that. I remember, like, when we started with a fruit and veg shop, first of all, it was like a traditional Irish greengrocers, and probably the average customer age was maybe 70, early 70, and it was typically older ladies after mass coming up looking for, is there a good heart in that cabbage? Because they used to eat bacon and cabbage. And when we first opened the veg shop,
Morris Piper potatoes,
people didn't know what the hell an aubergine was, or what ginger was. You didn't really sell peppers, sweet potatoes. What the hell's a sweet potato? Lemongrass? I don't know what it is. You just throw it out every week because people didn't buy it. Like, you sold a whole lot of potatoes. And I remember when we opened the juice bar first, it was something different. It was like one of the first juice bars in Ireland. Bars in Ireland. And I remember, like, when a customer would come in under the age of 20, be like, oh my God, there's 3 people under the age of 20 in the shop. Whoa!
This revolution is real.
Yeah. And then I remember another time we were going off to do a festival, and we were invited to one of the bigger ones. And I remember we thought, okay, let's rebrand, like, strawberries. Like, we got to call them something. Festivals is all about sex. Let's call them sex berries. Let's walk around and sell sex berries. Didn't really work. We ended up throwing out half the pound. But it was a good idea. We were trying.
Yeah. And how then did Dara, you end up getting involved?
Yeah, my journey's kind of been through, I guess, the guys are older than me, just to clarify. I'm the younger brother.
And what's your role in the business?
Yeah, well, right now, I
He's the CEO.
He's the boss.
He's the boss.
He's the boss man.
Keep it on track.
And he's humble. That's why he kind of.
Where I began, I think, is I guess like right before I even started full time, I was competing pretty high level in Ireland on triathlon. I was young, but I was really, and I almost like just before I literally joined full time, I almost moved to Australia to pursue it full time and really get into it. But equally at the same time, I was growing with a load of wheatgrass and trying to find, I guess, ways to just constantly improve your, just your performance. And so I was growing it, juicing it, and finding it was really, my recovery was better. I was feeling I had more energy. It was just giving me the edge, or what I felt was helping me. And at the time, our granny had passed, and she had left a small chunk of money,
15 grand.
A seed amount that we could start, and I guess trying to put it into something. And I guess I've always wanted to, from working in the shop in the early days, I've always wanted more Irish veg or more local, because it just wasn't there. We couldn't buy it. We wanted it, but we just couldn't.
And there was always this assumption when we started the fruit and veg shop. I always thought most of the produce was Irish, and it was only when you started looking, it was like, nope, most of it's from Holland. And we grow cabbage in Ireland, and that's pretty much
some of it.
And we didn't have we didn't, like, our parents weren't growers, so we didn't have that in us, and we didn't have land or anything like that. So growing wheatgrass was something you could do indoors, you could do it year round, and then you could move into other sprouted, really healthy superfoods. And so with that money that Granny left, we set up a purpose setup of basically healthy wheatgrass and sprouts business. And that was like the start of our products business. So it started out very meager. We were selling to the Happy Pear in Greystones. We were selling to Nature's Gold. There used to be an eco shop in Greystones. And so it was really small. And then it just organically grew. We started, got a break to sell it in a store in town. It went well. And it was just through passion, love of what I was doing and getting it out there. And it just sort of grew. And over time, like, we had a lot of shaky moments where, sprouts became unsellable when there was an outbreak of sprouts in Germany. Just, you couldn't sell anything to do with sprouts. And we diversified.
Overnight, your business was nearly gone.
Yeah, so it was like, how can we keep going? Because I'm loving this. I'm finding, talking and connecting with people and helping them. Yeah, just trying to change to healthier foods was really exciting. And we were making pesto, or like Mom was basically making pesto and
making 6 tubs a week and putting them in little white tubs and selling them in a juice bar.
As per Stephen's recipe.
So Steve's usually the originator. He's very creative.
Yeah, still the best tasting pesto I've ever had anyway.
And it literally, within a few weeks, we looked at how can we actually, start to scale this up, and what's known as manufacturing, move it into that space of actually, like, which is, manufacturing is taking it out of, making it in our cafe and moving it into a purpose setup where it's much more regulated, because now you're going to start supplying lots of other places, or small amount, and then grow it over time. So the regulations are a bit more, and we had lots of learning around that, and constantly.
Can I interrupt you there? Because I think you jumped about 5 years, because it went from Mom making 5 tubs a week to where it literally went one step at a time, where we started making 20 a week, and then 30 a week, and then 50 a week, and then 100 a week. And then you realized, okay, well, we need to move it somewhere else, because we're making too much in this small kitchen, and we had to rent a place. And then, so we kind of fumbled along until now we've got Pearville, which is our big purpose-built, food manufacturing facility, which is BRC. It's got the highest food quality rating, and we make about 5 or 10,000, 20,000 a week. Like,
at what point did Musgraves get involved?
So and what is Musgraves?
Yeah, so like we started supplying in lots of independent stores around Dublin, and then it was in like 2013 they were starting. We didn't know exactly about it, but it was on the farm. It was our manager, Shimon, had said, let's go and do a course. I think we really should kind of, continue to develop here. And so myself and himself started this course. It was set up with Musgrave, the local enterprise office, which is like the local business place.
And just to clarify, people might go, Musgrave. What's Musgrave is like a parent company that owns SuperValu and Centra. So they're two of the biggest. SuperValu is one of the three biggest supermarkets in Ireland. It's
The
one of
biggest Irish supermarket.
biggest Irish
Yeah,
supermarket,
and
and
then
then
Centra is the convenience store.
And I remember when you first said you were going to do something with Super Value, it was like, what? You're selling out, Darren. What are you doing something with the supermarket people? This is a revolution. You don't join like the establishment.
So yeah, like it was definitely, and it was also with Board BS. So the three of those had set it up, and it was really, we were like, okay, well, let's just learn about this, and let's learn about what it is to supply a supermarket, and understand, is it, and what does it take, and slowly just consider it and see what it's like. But then when we actually were there and we met the people who were putting it on, we were like, wow, these guys are they're humans. They actually did have an initiative to engage with, smaller local producers in the areas. And so this was with Wicklow and Wexford joined together for the first one, and so at the end of the whatever it was, I think it was 4 or 5 sessions, or it was certainly 3 sessions, and we had a few mentor ones, and we were pitching to the local one, which was actually the one across the road from the Happy Pear, Anne Daly, who's the owner of that store,
Super Value Greystone.
Super Value Greystone. So you're pitching, and Anne was there, and you're pitching your business and you're explaining why you're about it, and et cetera, and it went well. So then we at the time, I guess, the books were just about to come out, the first book, and
the first Happy Pear cookbook.
So the timing was really, we did, I have to say, the timing we were blessed with in terms of the program starting. The business was just on an inflection point, and so it was the start of Super Value, is setting up this program, and we started to supply local ones around Wicklow, around Dublin, and then it went well. We were our pesto and our sprouts were selling well, particularly the pesto, and it then just grew, and we started to supply more and more nationally, and then naturally, I think we're mission driven. We want to change as much people's, move people towards healthier diets and that are better for them and better for the planet. And so it was like, right, well, like we need to start making soup. We need to start making meals. We need to get this out to more people. And so we looked at ways to do that. And it was just through, we make what we're good at, and we partner with others who have the skill set to do that. And that's how we've grown the business, through working with like-minded businesses who have true relationships. Really.
And today, as Dara said, there's over 75 products like across the full range. So it really is about, like, someone can go to the supermarket and they can, or say Super Value, and they can see there's a chicken tikka masala for dinner, or there's a Happy Pear lasagna, which is vegetarian. It's all plant-based. And
you mentioned vegan. How many have you roughly sold so far?
Over 18 million products.
And the aim of this 18.9% that you're selling off is to bring the products
into the UK and then grow it
and
further.
Beyond, yeah.
So it's really, it starts with the UK, and then we want to bring it as, globally.
Whichever doors open easiest, because it really is about impact. And as we said, like, we've driven the business this far, not alone, with an incredible team. But it's like, okay, well, if more people own it and more people are vested in the business, if this really is about social change at its core, as well as being a commercially viable business, if social impact is at its core, well, the more people that have ownership, the more people are part of this, the more it's going to create a ripple effect. And, climate change is the biggest, threat to our species, to humanity. It really is. Like, how we live today, our food choices directly impact this. And I think there's a lot of people out there that are looking for ways of having meaning and having purpose. And really, it comes back to, you have so much agency, which you may or may not be aware of, that, and most of our food choices are they're habitual. We don't think about it. We are animals, as humans, that we're craving fat and sugar. And, we've reached a stage where we eat 76 billion animals are killed a year to feed all, and a huge amount of the land on the planet is used for grazing cattle or growing food to graze cattle. Whereas when you choose plant-based choices, there's just less environmental impact. So it's not about making anyone vegetarian or vegan. Obviously, if they are, that's preferential for the planet. But it's really, the business is about supporting people to eat more veg. And yeah, we're looking for people to come on board and join the mission and, help impact more people, as well as getting a good return on their investment.
And I think it's worth saying, why the UK? The UK really, it's our next closest neighbour. It's 15 times the population. About 10 times the kind of the value, let's say. And it's English speaking, and it's just right there. And we know from our that our books have sold more in the UK than they have in Ireland. More people actually listen to this podcast in the UK than in Ireland. So it's like there's a natural fit there in terms of hopefully, and from these numbers, that people actually in the UK are keen for this and want to change. And if they've got the opportunity and we can get there and do it well, that it can have a real big impact. So
it's basically making plant-based easy choice in supermarkets.
Yeah, it's really
convenience
just to bring the Happy Pear brand and try to catalyse more positive change internationally. So that's why we're raising 2.5 million. We're putting up 18.9% owners. We're looking for like-minded people with similar values.
To form long-term relationships.
To form long-term relationships that put their money where their values are and really get behind the business, and let's impact more people. And, obviously return on investment is right up there. We've got the full details on our website.
But brass tacks, if you're to stand back and kind of go, well, what do I get from my 500 quid? Right?
Yeah, okay, what do you mean 500 quid? So,
or if you're putting in,
so maybe a question. Okay, and sorry I'm taking your job now, Sarah.
No, go for it.
Like, how do I invest, or what do you mean invest? Do I need to be some kind of investor, or do I need to go through a stockbroker?
Anyone can invest. So we partner with a crowd investment platform called Broccoli, and they manage this whole process. And this is equity, so we're selling.
They're actually called broccoli, like a vegetable.
Yes, exactly. So they're a crowd equity platform, and what they specialize in is regenerative and sustainable businesses that want to have a positive impact in the world. So we partner with them, and the minimum investment is €500, and so far the highest investment we have is someone's investing €250,000. So if people want to invest 2.5 million, that's great too. Don't feel limited, really. Can I say that one again? Don't feel there's any limit. Like, you can really get behind this. But as I said, the minimum investment is €500. So it is open to people if they do want to make an investment of that. In terms of return on investment, Dar, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So like we as a, we will review our dividend policy year on year. And, if we choose to pay dividends will be spread across.
What is a dividend, Dar?
So the shareholders will pay out any profits.
So owners
to owners within that. So that'll be for review year on year. People can also sell, within 2 years. So like, people are locked in for a 2-year period with their shares, but after that they can sell it on the Broccoli platform to other. So that's quite special to the Broccoli platform.
So that's a secondary market I can sell in a secondary market.
It's a secondary market within it. And then our aim as a business is over time, and this is our aim, is that we will redeem the shares and buy them back at a minimum rate of 1.5 times what people put in. So if people put in 500, our ambition and our aim is that we will be buying it back for, at a minimum, 750 quid.
A minimum, that's nice. And how does it work? How do I
You go on
start?
so at the moment we've just launched this. You'll go on to the happypear.ie/invest. Follow all the information. There's an investor deck. There's a valuation report there. You can really learn a lot about it. But ultimately, what you're going to do for the first 2 weeks, and by the time you listen to this, it's probably only have 3 days, you can reserve your shares. And then the day it goes live, which is the 27th of June, you can purchase your shares. It's on a first come, first serve basis. We have had a huge amount of interest, and we are absolutely delighted, overwhelmed and overjoyed.
So if you have reserved your shares, we're very grateful. Thank you.
And if you
we hope-
haven't, get stuck in, get in there quick.
So to simplify that, I basically go on the website, go into the investment, which is at the top.
If you go on the website, there's banners. You cannot miss it.
You can't miss
Just
it.
type
And
in the Happy Pear.
And once I click into it, I see the reserve button straight away. It's very straightforward. And
Yeah,
simple.
you press on that button, it takes you 1 minute to fill out the form. If it's after the 27th of June, it's gone live. And when it's gone live, you can actually buy shares. So we'll change our
Unless they're
website and
all
update
sold.
it. So it'll go to the Broccoli platform where people will literally have to create an account and then actually make their investment. So it's taking their money out, or however they transfer the money and become an owner.
Important though that you have to reserve your shares to be able to get. So there will be, when we do go live on the 27th, there will be a 48-hour period for people who've reserved. But if you haven't reserved, you won't be in. So you very much have to reserve, and then you get it. There'll be an opportunity, and we'll be letting people know via email. And more than likely online, but definitely via email. As people say, you have to put in an email that actually, a valid email, that we'll be communicating with them through the process and making sure that they know exactly when it's going live.
So we're very much putting this out to community first before we put it out to public.
Well, as Stephen said, like we've always been about community, and as we said, we've individually we've owned the business and we're realizing if this is more community owned, it's going to impact more people. And together, like as that expression goes, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So we're really at the stage of going, well, how can we become more community owned? We're a community based business that wants to impact more people within the community. So that's the whole crux of it.
Right. So I'm literally about to push the button.
Woo, go Sarah.
But
How
I'm
much you gonna invest?
hesitating. I'm
hesitant.
hesitating.
What's our pitch?
What is your 60-second pitch?
People can feel disenfranchised, disillusioned, fed up. It's easy. Mental health issues are prevalent in our society. And I think purpose, as my granny used to say, is a huge gift. And as Dave mentioned early, we do have so much agency. Nowadays, if you look at most economies and you ask people what's the center of most economies, people think it's pharmaceuticals, people think it's tech, people think it's all these sexy things. But ultimately, it's food. If we don't have food, we are out of here. And the quality of our food dictates the farming, which massively impacts our home, our planet. Your food choices are a political act. It's a political statement. It's a vote for the world you want to create. If you can choose to eat more plant-based, you are supporting a more regenerative, more conscious, more sustainable world. And oh, sorry, Dave.
So what about investing? That was a lovely, I loved
No,
that,
I
Steve.
love
That
that,
was
yeah.
great. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
But what about investing, Dar? What's your
Yeah,
60 second about why someone should invest and
Perfect.
become part of it?
So we've been in business 19 years and we've proven in Ireland that it works. People are really into it. We've sold almost, this year we'll sell 13 million. So we have a base in Ireland. We've now the opportunity through this to take it into the UK and beyond. And the market is booming. Plant-based market is absolutely booming. The UK market within that is one of the biggest. And we've got a business that's really grown, and we are at this point where we really want to get it out to more people. And it is, because of us having, it's just a much bigger market, and we're ready to go to make that move.
This is great because we're really representing the different sides of the business through your personalities. Now, Dave, your turn.
I'm just going to bring it home. So 19 years building a business. We've built a brand that stands for values of representing the planet, representing animals, representing biodiversity. We want to impact more people. We want you to become part of this journey. You are a community. We value you, really do. This is a unique opportunity. It's the first time we've ever done this. Together, we want to impact more people, get more people eating more plant-based foods. We've never done this before. We've got a huge demand so far. So if you want to get on board, I'd really say act soon. I genuinely mean that. I'm not just trying to create FOMO. It really is a unique opportunity where together we can have a huge more impact. You can be part of something that stands for something of huge meaning. We are committed to giving a good ROI. We will endeavor to do that as best we can. And this, come on board. We want to get together with you and form a long-term relationships and together impact more people.
And my final question, why did you decide just to go down this and not conventional route of investing?
Financing.
Well, we started down the conventional route, and then we just knew in our heart of hearts that this isn't what we're about. This isn't what we're about. We have always been about community. When people talk about the Happy Pear, they go, those two twins that swim in the sea, and they're all about community. It always has been about this.
This isn't about money. This is about social change. So at our very core, we were looking at how we can approach business differently. And I think this funding model is a lot more congruent with our philosophy. It's not necessarily about traditional finance. It's more about how can we harness the power of the collective.
Nice.
Beautiful.
I'm in.
You're in. Beautiful.
Woo!
So, if you are interested, go to the Happy Pear website and follow all the details there. There's loads of FAQs. There's full details there. We'd love to have you on board. And if it's not for you, whether it is or isn't for you, we'd love you to help spread the word. So maybe share this podcast with anyone or talk to people, because we're looking for like-minded people that have similar values that want to join part of this and change the
Have a
world
long-term
together.
relationship.
And
That's it.
And also, if you can't afford to put funding in, you also have your farm that you have people come down and help. And
Yeah, we've
be
got a
part
4-acre
of.
regenerative farm, it's all about local food, creating an environment, creating a blueprint that we can help other farmers to come on board and try regenerative organic farming.
And lots of
practices.
friends and family come down on a Saturday to help out. And,
Yes.
anyone listening, send us a message and,
Come join
hopefully you
us.
can come help.
Yeah.
Yeah, come join
Yeah.
us. Literally come.
Wonderful. So I just want to say thanks, Emil, for your attention. We really value being part of this community. We really, really do. Thanks for listening to why we're doing what we're doing. And if you can share it with other like-minded people, we'd be so grateful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Sending lots of love.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.